In this video, we will continue to explore Twinmotion, and we're going to do it in combination with Unreal Engine. So we saw how we can import with different types of format and using different others software. We can either import here from the import panel or going into the menu and using import. Now we use the geometry method, which is basically the standard import. So you can select all different files, native files from SketchUp and Cinema 4D, for example, or also you can export from Rhino, NURBS, or from 3ds Max, or from Maya, or any other 3D software in the most popular formats like FBX or OBJ or GLTF, open source GLTF, GLB, which by the way work pretty good, usually GLTF and GLB. So you have many options. Also the Datasmith option. We saw also a series of Datasmith plugins, and we also saw the use of direct linking or dynamically connecting the two software together so that you can work in one software and render in Twinmotion simultaneously. So you can do that with building information modeling application like Revit or ArchiCAD, and you can basically work in here only for the render part and work in there only for the technical part. So we saw different types of imports in the previous video: interiors, exteriors, architecture. Now this one here is a room, and we also created a couple of views in the media panel. So we can use media panel to store different point of views, different cameras that we can recall later really quickly. So we can just click on that thumbnail, it's gonna bring us there. Now I've also added here another object to cut the interior so that we can see behind the walls of the interior. Now we can import, we saw everything collapsed into one object, or we can import everything into a hierarchy which contains folders, subfolders to manage the project better in the scene panel on the right. And so we can expand here, for example, the armchair. We imported, it's only one mesh, which is represented by that little icon. But other imports that we did, like this one here from 3ds Max in 3ds Max format, the project is grouped together, but we have different elements so that we can work with each single piece of furniture or with any asset. And you can see that I can definitely customize it because I can work only with the tabletop or the legs, and we can use characters here from or people from 3ds Max, so we can edit then perfectly the project from here. We cannot model in Twinmotion, but we can edit with the basic transform tools. Now we also saw we can switch into pedestrian mode in the previous video, and let's see this again. So when you use pedestrian mode, it's really cool because you can play, you can navigate, you can explore your project like a video game. You can move around. This is fast because I'm holding the shift key. You can go faster holding the shift key, or you can adjust the speed using the keys from 1 to 6. Now I use this section here. This is the section object to cut through, as I told you before, the object. So you can create kind of a 3D section with this tool. You can see through the walls, you can see behind the walls because you're basically hiding part of the object using this cube, which you can find in the library in the tools section, and it's called the section. So you just click there, create a cube, and just place it into your scene. And this is working like a cube, but instead of adding a cube, is subtracting a cube from that model. So you can see there is creating a section. Now sometimes it does it really well, sometimes less, depending on the 3D model you are cutting through. So just try it if you want. This is just to show you how I created this kind of dollhouse effect here by cutting part of this interior, which we downloaded from the previous lesson from Sketchfab, and we saw that in the previous lesson. So we can use plugins in Twinmotion, but the plugins are actually the ones we already saw, which are basically the direct link or the dynamic linking to other software, which means you can dynamically and constantly update the project, and it's going to update also the render. So you can search for the direct link Twinmotion, and you always gonna go there on the same page. So if we go here in the Twinmotion plugins, you can see these are all Datasmith direct link exporters, importers, or to work simultaneously with both. And then at the bottom of the page, we have Datasmith Twinmotion content for Unreal Engine and Datasmith Twinmotion importer plugin for Unreal Engine. Now, these plugins will help us to take the content we have in Twinmotion and bring it into Unreal Engine if we want to continue with something more complex in terms of interaction and creating like an interactive application or a video game or something similar. So if you want to do more, something more interactive, you can definitely move into Unreal Engine. While if you need some visualization like renderings and animation and basic interaction, you can use Twinmotion. You can stay in Twinmotion. So in this video, we're going to concentrate a bit more on this part. And we're also going to see not only how we can import from Unreal Engine, but also how we can export into Unreal Engine. So we're going to see that these are close. They work together many times. Now here in the Epic Games website, we can, if we click on the download button, it's going to bring you here. If you click on download now, it's going to bring you here in these pages that are from the Epic Games marketplace. And we can find more information about these two plugins that we're going to use. Otherwise, we can go in the Epic Games Launcher and go in the marketplace. And here you have a lot of assets you can use with Unreal Engine. So if you type Twinmotion, you will find anything related to Twinmotion. So here in the marketplace, you can find a lot of assets from Twinmotion that you can also use in Unreal Engine. And by the way, you can use Megascans in Unreal Engine and a lot of other sources. You can buy assets in the marketplace. You can find a lot of free assets. So it's really a wonderful resource if you're planning to move into Unreal Engine. But everything is explained in the Unreal Engine video course if you're interested. But you can see here you have many Twinmotion assets, people, furniture, architecture, vehicles, so on. You can bring them into Unreal Engine. And you also have the Twinmotion importer. So you can see I've already downloaded here the Twinmotion importer, so I already have it. Otherwise, you need to place your orders in the chart. You need to buy those, but they are at zero cost. They cost zero, so you use the chart, but essentially you are not buying those. You're just downloading them, and when you're finished to download, you can install them. Now, from the library page, this is where you can get the Unreal Engine versions, your projects, and down there, the other packages that you have downloaded. So if you're searching here something specific, you can type, for example, Twinmotion, and you can see I already have a lot of stuff here I can add to the project, or I can install to the engine. Right now I'm using 5.1, but just a few days ago they released the 5.2, so I'm also downloading the 5.2 version of Unreal Engine, which is going to be pretty similar. So when I want to install a plugin, I can install it only on the downloaded Unreal Engine version. So I'm going to use 5.1, and I'm going to install the Datasmith Twinmotion importer into this version here, 5.1. But right now it's queued. You can see it's not actually installing this. Now, remember, everything is explained in the Unreal Engine video course. I'm not going to take too much time in explaining how the marketplace works, how the Unreal Engine works. Everything is covered in the Unreal Engine video course. So I'm just going to go straight to talk about the Twinmotion stuff. So I'm going to pause the Unreal Engine 5.2, and also I'm going to delete other queued elements or packages. I'm going to delete it. So it's going to start right away to download the Datasmith Twinmotion importer plugin. And this is a beta version, by the way, so it's not like definitive. So it could have things that can be adjusted and fixed in the future. So you can see it's not heavy, so I just need to wait a few seconds. And so you can see just how you can launch Twinmotion. From here, you can download it in various version, trial version, educational version, or commercial version. You can also download Unreal Engine and launch the engine from here, or you can update, you can install,